What's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to our Sunday night live stream. And it is going to be a doozy. We'll talk about the Longhorns and their performances at the NFL Combine, 14 of them. So we'll try to go through all the different guys and who increased their draft stock and where the draft stock stands of all the Longhorns after their performance at the Combine. We'll also get into any other questions you guys want to dive into, questions, comments. You guys can drive the show in any direction you want to. Super chats, jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time. I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers, pleased to be joined by the estimable Jerry Hamilton and the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Bobby Burton. All right, gentlemen, what's going on? It was a good weekend. Well, not for all Longhorn sports, but for the guys at the Combine. That's what we're talking about specifically. It was a good weekend. Is it safe to say the Longhorns might have they might have won the NFL Combine again? Last year we were talking about this and saying, no, I think the Longhorns actually won the Combine if that was a thing. I feel like if it was a thing, the Longhorns, I feel like they won the Combine again, kind of based on some of the performances that we saw, and we'll dive into some of them specifically, but quite a performance from a lot of the Longhorns who showed up at the Combine.
Well, if they gave the Hart Award, it would be Gunnar Helm, right? I mean, like,
yeah, it does. Hey, Matt, you need I don't know if you've seen the Ian Rappaport photo, Matt, on Twitter. Talking to our producer, but look, he rolled his ankle. I texted with Gunner's dad yesterday, and he told me that Gunner rolled his ankle at the first false start and kept going on it. I'm like, why'd he keep going on it?
Why
he just wanted, he wanted to keep going and prove that he was doable. But look at that.
Look at that thing.
You wonder why he ran a 4.9 the first go and then a 4.8 the second time. That's pretty strong. And then doing all those drills like he did afterwards. He actually finished, third or fourth own drill and a couple of those drills. That's pretty impressive by the young man. But a lot of people were tabbing him as the loser of the Combine. And I think in retrospect, they'll understand now that he wasn't. But really the story, guys, coming out of this were the four guys going sub 4.4. I mean, Texas, for the first time in Combine history, had four guys under 4.4 in a single Combine. It'd never been done before. But with Matthew Golden leading the way at 4.29, Bond, Barron, as well as Jaden Blue, they had four under 4.4. First time it's ever been done in Combine history. Makuba runs a 4.45. To your point, Rod, they're talking about it because there's a reason. I mean, Texas is dominating. Kelvin Banks today, Jerry, came in bigger than expected. CJ wrote a little thing I thought was very poignant. He said, for those people that were thinking that Kelvin Banks might be a guard, he's got a longer reach than Will Campbell, who a lot of people's number one. I mean, they didn't get it. I think, to your point, Rod, I think you're right. I think Texas won the Combine again this year.
Hey, by the way, this is the second straight year that a Texas wide receiver put up a time a lot better than what he looked like on the field. Rod, did you ever watch Matthew Golden and think he's 4.29 fast?
I did not, but I will say this, and that's a great point. I think this is a great conversation, because now I think a lot of scouts are going to kind of go back to the film and go, whoa, I got to go back to the film. I got to reevaluate. I got to check my notes a little bit and critique my notes on them. I pointed this out at one point. I think we were all surprised. I said, dude, he led college football in 20+ yard plays.
Yeah.
As a receiver. Like, he led all the receivers. And you didn't think it didn't really kind of hit me at the time that he was that explosive. But the stats and the film it says he's an explosive wide receiver for some reason, and I don't know where it came from. It came that Matthew Golden had good speed, but not elite speed, and I don't know where that came from, because man, he showed elite speed and acceleration, which that actually does match up with the tape, and with the stats and the productivity. So I'm glad he ran what he ran. It shocked us. It shocked everyone. But I have no idea where the preconceived belief came from that, oh, no, he's a 4.4 guy and is 4.29. And you know what?
It's a different level. Yeah.
Here's my guess on it, because I don't know his track background. and I haven't studied that. I know he does have some track background, but as a receiver, there's not a lot of wasted movement. He's so efficient in terms of his route running, in terms of his movement. There's not a lot of wasted movement. Go back and watch him. He's very, very efficient with his routes, getting in and out of his breaks with his footwork, and great kickoff return, no doubt about that. But that's more long speed.
Right.
We didn't 40 speed is a little bit different than long speed, right? Like,
and when Syracuse Soren says speed isn't a surprise. Him running 4.45 wouldn't have been surprised. 4.29, that surprised NFL scouts.
That's surprising. That's a different level of acceleration with 4.29. Guys, I was fast. Like, I don't know. Jamal Charles was fast. Jaden Blue's fast, right? I mean, Isaiah Bond's fast. 4.29. Anytime you go sub 4.3, that's a different world of fast. That's dudes like me who are fast and we're fast. Go, oh, that's another level. That's a different gear that I didn't possess as a fast guy.
He was a 10.75 100-meter senior year in high school, so he's gotten a lot faster.
Exactly. I think what I say is no wasted movement. And a lot of your 40, a lot of guys who run slower 40s that don't match up with their either play speed or match up with their track speed is because they're a little bit sloppy in terms of their movement. Matthew Golden, go look at that 40. Man, that's not a wasted movement. Everything. It's like almost robotic. It's crazy. It's freaky. It's freaky and automated the way he looks getting out of that 40 time.
And the crazy thing is, Bobby, you talked to Lance Zierlein, and what I was thinking of that interview with Zierlein, he talked about it not being a deep wide receiver draft. Somebody just posted that Mike Tannenbaum said Golden will be the first off the board. He probably will be in this wide receiver draft. There's no Jeremiah Smith in this draft that's so a super freak. The opportunity was there for Matthew Golden to come out and have a great combine, and he did. And he's going to probably be the first receiver off the board now.
Yeah.
If it's not Luther Burden or if they don't go with Travis Hunter, wide receiver.
Right.
Yeah. Here's the question I had for Rod, because you and I, it was a group text chat yesterday. Just in all fairness, all of us were on that. Jerry, Rod, myself, CJ, Jeff Howe. And it was about, Rod was talking about zero wasted motion. If you go back and put side-by-side film up of Isaiah Bond and Matthew Golden's 40, Matthew Golden stays low through the first 10 yards and then starts bringing his shoulders up. And then at 20, he's square and ready to go. Isaiah Bond pops up almost immediately without staying low. Isaiah Bond, once he got going, and this is what proves out in the miles per hour thing that we've talked about before. Isaiah Bond actually ran 24 plus miles per hour, second fastest of anybody at the combine. Okay, Matthew Golden ran 23 and a half. Okay, Isaiah Bond suffered from a poor start, or we could have been talking about two guys beneath 4.3.
Exactly.
At receiver.
Great point, Bobby. That's track stuff. Like that's
he just popped right up, and I was like, and Matthew Golden, the thing that they're talking about now, I hear it. It's almost like, you know how they get talking points, whether it's a recruiting guy or an NFL draft guy, a guy gets pigeonholed or a talking point becomes Matthew Golden snaps off his routes is the new thing you're hearing. Look at him snap his routes. That's what they're saying. To your point, Rod, about that sort of thing.
Yeah, the footwork. Footwork. Yep.
They're saying snaps. What Golden has always done since high school, he gears down as well as he gears up.
Decelerate. His deceleration is as good as his acceleration. Yep. He's got both. Elite.
That's what makes him hard to cover.
I agree. That's a great point, Jeff. Yeah, no, that's amazing. And that point you made, Bobby, is on the nose. That if you're looking at the miles per hour, the MPHs, that he ran faster. But it just shows you football a lot of times about efficiency. You're talking about short area, change of direction. It's all about footwork. Who can get there with the most efficiency, with the least amount of wasted movement? And Matthew Golden is one of them dudes. And it does show in his route running. Now it adds up. And like I said, I'll go back to the film, and a lot of scouts will, and go, yep, he looks like a guy that's a 4.29.
Let me ask you this comparison for Matthew Golden. going way, way back. What do you think about Marvin Harrison?
Wow.
He's got great hands, dude.
He does
He's got great hands. I mean, do you all realize that the catches he made this year, the one in the back of the end zone against Arizona State? Now, I'm not talking about the 4th and 13 where it was basically a gut ball. I'm talking about the extra point, 2-point conversion, the touchdown against Arkansas, where he literally was extended. The touchdown against Vanderbilt, one-handed. The first first down Texas got against Ohio State, one-handed. Right? There's one more I'm thinking of. The ball's deep over the middle that Quinn was late with. The ball where he had to come back and it was down below and it was a deep ball. Y'all remember those? I mean, he made a number of freaky catch plays. And it just kind of caught up on you.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison, very similar, in my opinion.
NFL
a lot
Network.
of freaky catch plays, but he doesn't. Marvin Harrison was never a wow guy for me.
No.
He was never a wow guy, but he was always in the right place at the right time. You couldn't really catch him. You know what I mean? Wasn't super big.
Yep.
5'11", 190. He's not 6 foot, 6'1".
Yeah. Hey, I want to answer this. We need to talk about Makuba because Makuba's 4.45. I thought was good for him too. We're blue. Brian Berg has blue and golden on the Klein Kane track team. Yes. Obviously, blue was not there as senior season, but they were early on in high school. For those that don't know, Matthew Golden moved to the Houston area from St. Petersburg, Florida, I believe in the 7th grade. He's originally from Florida, moved in the 7th grade. But I think Golden took track more serious than blue did from when I was there.
Got it.
Wow. It's a lot of team speed right there.
Yeah, team sub 4.4 at the same combine.
If we don't have time to talk about, somebody asked about basketball. Would Texas hire Will Wade if there's an opening? One, I do think there's going to probably be an opening, right, Bobby, at this point. And two, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. We see a lot of questions piling up. We'll get to the questions. I promise you that. And we'll dive into as much as we can about each individual player at the combine. But first, let me thank our friends over at Rogue Shop, the sponsors of our Sunday night live stream. We appreciate them for being part of the Owen Texas football family, bringing real plant medicine back to its roots. That's rogueshop.com. You see the website right there. Make sure you use the promo code Owen Texas. You'll get a very special discount from our very special friends over at rogueshop.com. They have it all, folks, from oils and creams to flour, gummies, and vitamins, whatever you need. Now, if you're dealing with, it doesn't really matter what you're dealing with. Maybe it's anxiety. Maybe it's sleep deprivation. Maybe you can't sleep. Maybe it's aches and pains because Father Time is winning like it is against all of us. But maybe it's from your football playing days like it is for me, no matter what your ailment is. Our friends over at rogueshop.com have a variety of different ailments, that different things that can help you, different oils and creams and gummies and vitamins that can help ease any of the ailments that you may be dealing with. So go check them out at rogueshop.com. Remember to use that discount code on Texas. They ship nationwide. That's anywhere in the country, so they can get their very special products to you over at rogueshop.com. So we appreciate them for being a sponsor of our Sunday night live stream and being a member of the Owen Texas football family here. All right, let's get to Colt, thank you, Colt. I hope we got that approved. He said, "Where is CJ?" Colt wants to know where CJ is.
He's at the NASCAR race, I believe. Or he was.
All right. Hope you got that approved. Thank you very much, Colt. We appreciate that. But
hey, where's Blake, Colt? More importantly.
Yeah, like I said, as long as he knows, as long as the people know, it's all good. All right, let's get to a couple of the questions. How about this one? Because this is another big topic other than Texas and their speed at the NFL Combine, and we'll get back to that. My man CB says Ewers killed it. Quinn Ewers did look really good in his throwing session. I think we all expected that to be the case. I mean, like I said, when he's healthy, Quinn Ewers, actually his film when he's healthy is as good as any of these quarterbacks actually in this draft. The big question is the consistency of being healthy game to game. But I thought he looked really, really good, and give props to him. Throwing at the combine is not easy because those are not your guys. That's not a controlled environment. You're throwing with other receivers. that actually was a gutsy call. I don't think he had much of a choice, but give it up for Quinn. He looked really good.
Yeah, I thought he looked good too. I watched it. Sark. How about Sark? You talk about winning the combine. Sark being on NFL Network during the combine itself.
That was cool.
A win. Yep, that was a win. That's been reserved for the Nick Sabans, Ryan Days, Lincoln Riley used to do a little bit of that. Sark's starting to get a little bit of that TLC right now from the media, based on his last 2 years and the production of the guys going into the NFL. Frankly, it's been a little bit of both. Hey, what about Cam Williams today? Did y'all see what Rod? Did you see what he came in at?
Nathan here says the most shocking thing for him was Cam Williams at 311. 317, I believe was that. So there you go. Thank you, Nathan. What did he come in to Texas at initially?
In the 370, 375 range.
Man, shout out Corey Becton and the staff.
Well, you know what? Cam probably played at 340 this year.
Wow.
That tells NFL scouts that he has the ability to. Yep. Somebody asked earlier in the chat, should Cam Williams have stayed another year? I've always said no. And here's the reason why. Even if he's a second-round pick, contracts start at $9.9 million and drop to 6.5 in the second round. I mean, no. I've always been on that one. I know people's arguments, but not Rod. I mean, if you were a second-round pick after your junior, you would have gone, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's plenty of money these days with the new CBA, the way it's set. I mean, you make real good money. You can make life-changing money still in the second round. Even if you don't get the second contract, but a guy like that, his upside, the big contract for him should be the second one. That should be right around the time that he's starting to peak as a player. I think that's
he literally just did the one thing he had to do to make a lot of money, and that's not be out of shape.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they already know he's only got 1 year starting, so they know that they're betting on the come a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But to invest in that, you got to think that, is he going to be one of those guys that actually takes his physical fitness seriously? Or are we going to have to worry about that too?
Yep.
You have to start worrying about all these other things. Oh, well, maybe he's a third-round pick or a fourth-round pick. Oh, no. He's going to be that big and be in shape. Takes the game and his livelihood serious enough to where we ain't going to worry about it.
Yep, and everything is
this. I mean, the arm length, the hand size too. I mean, he had a good day without doing much.
Yes, that's my point. Is like he did. It's like the next 2 months, I don't think it means much for him. It'll mean a lot for Gunnar Helm, who's going to have to probably rework out a little bit, right?
Alfred Collins.
Yeah, Alfred, some of those guys, it'll mean stuff for those guys. I don't know what else do you need to see from Cam Williams.
Well, same. Yeah, I agree with you. Because Kelvin Banks, he's one of the same thing, right? He just had to show they need to see arm length. I guess that's not out there. So once they saw, actually, his arms are longer than Will Campbell, like you mentioned, Bobby. It's like, okay, well, yeah. What other question does he need to answer at this point?
Well, this was what was funny about that, and I mentioned this in our group chat too. Rod, is his arm length was only like what, 1.5 inches longer than Will Campbell's.
Mm-hmm.
But his chest, his wingspan was almost 1/2 foot longer than Will Campbell's. That means the broadness of his shoulders are just that much. I mean, that's how much bigger of a natural human he is. Does that make sense to y'all? Like you see, I mean, but I'm happy for those two guys. Jake Majors, what did he come in at? Jerry, did he come in at 307?
306.
Yeah, 306. It's about right. We'll see how it all goes. I want to mention a couple things real quick. Also, Rod and Jerry, happy birthday to Vic Schaefer. Coach Schaefer won the SEC regular season title. Somehow they lost the coin flip with South Carolina, so they only get the number 2 seed in the SEC tournament. They'll be the number 1 seed overall if they somehow win this tournament.
How's the coin flip still the? Hold on.
It was what Greg Sankey did it from the office during the LSU game because they tied.
Okay, I was gonna say
the coin flip is for the SEC tournament seeding. Obviously, Texas is wrapped up a number 1 seed. But that's – hey, by the way, and Blake Monroe, who's been all over it, broke the news. Aaliyah Chavez was at the game today with her parents. She won the state championship Saturday. Congrats to her. They blew out Liberty Hill 64-35. She was on campus for the game. There's a lot of pictures going around of her in the Moody as the confetti's dropping and they're celebrating the SEC championship. Again, she announces her decision March 25th, and we expect that to be Texas or Texas Tech.
Hey, congratulations to talk about state championships. Congratulations to Chris Ogden's son, Bo Ogden.
Hit the game winner. Awesome.
Yep, St. Michael's. They won a state championship on a last-second shot by Bo Ogden last night.
Nice.
State championship. So congrats to him. Also, if you follow, I know not many people follow Texas tennis. I happen to be out in San Diego area this weekend on my vacation. It's Jenny and I's 25th wedding anniversary. And long story short, we're tennis fans. We like to go see some tennis every so often. We went out and saw Elliot Spizzirri. He's a former University of Texas player, was the nation's number 1 ranked player 2 years in a row at Texas. He won the San Diego Open today in the third set, 6-4 in the third. So he won the San Diego Open over a former UCLA guy that won a national championship at UCLA. But he's going to be, it looks like he was ranked like 159 in the world. Elliott will probably go up into the 110s after this event. He won a Challenger Tour event today. So
one other Texas sports thing, Texas men's baseball won all 3 games this weekend, beat so they are 9-1 after starting 0-1. They've won 9 in a row, scored 10, 10, and 15 this weekend against Washington, Texas Tech, and Illinois. A few miles down the road, A&M's about to break a 4-game losing streak. I think they're up on Rice in the 6th inning. So congrats. Texas should be fun in the morning after getting off the losing streak there. Somebody, Zane Petty said, everybody's asking, we got to address this. If the Texas, and we obviously, if the Texas job comes open, somebody else asked, who would Texas hire? Who would you want to hire? This is what I'm saying about this, assuming the job opens. It all depends on what Texas is spending on a coach. I mean, that's going to tell you where your pool is. I don't know any other way to say that. So with Chris Beard, salary pool, NIL, at that time, it was an all-in around $10 million annually is what it would have been, and it would have jumped because Beard would have had success, and then that would have probably gone to 12, 13, 14. But what's the number going to be if the job opens? What's Texas going to put in? And I don't know, Bobby, we know that yet. Right now, Texas basketball makes money. But if you jump way up into that 7-8 million head coach salary, then you're going to have to go more salary pool. That type of coach is going to want a 5-6 million NIL guarantee annually. And then you're jumping up to 16 to 18 million a year all in. You're no longer a moneymaker at that point. So it'll be interesting, Bobby, kind of what happens there.
Yeah.
What do you think? Hey, Jerry and Rod. So I think Jay Wright, the former Villanova coach, is going to have to say no because somehow, some way, Chris Del Conte, I think his in-laws live in the same neighborhood as Jay Wright, the Villanova coach. And so there's going to be a knock at that door. He's probably going to say no because he said no to everybody else. He's out of it, right? I mean, we get that. But that's got to be one.
But it depends on what you're paying. That's what you have to know. I mean,
here's my question, though, Jerry. Who are the offensive coaches out there that play a style of game that is going to be attractive, that changes the calculus for money? Because I think part of the problem, one of the reasons why Chris Beard was really good at Texas or for Texas, and we talked about this in our pre-show meeting here, is he got the fans behind him. Okay. Well, he got him behind him in part because he's a Longhorn alum. Okay. Yeah. He knows how Texas works, et cetera. He got him going that direction, right? Well, the other way to get people butts in seats and more verve going behind the program is offense. So who's that answer? Yeah. Who's an offensive coach that they can get that puts butts in seats and wins?
Yeah, I mean, that's again, it just comes down to what they're going to pay. I mean, that's going to be the whole deal. I mean, seeing people are asking about Quinn Snyder. He has a house in Austin. He lives in Austin. He was always the year he was out of the NBA. He was around the program all the time. He makes $8 million a year with the Hawks. And by the way, he is a really good offensive coach. People are going to ask about Nate Oates. Well, Nate Oates can go to the NBA whenever he wants to at this point. And you'd have to pay him $7 to $8 million to even get in the ball game, and then Alabama would probably match what you're willing to pay. Somebody asked about Todd Golden at Florida. Florida's a better program than Texas. That's a complete lateral or slight move down. I mean, honestly, and Todd Golden's got it going at Florida. Why would he make that jump? It doesn't make sense. But again, it's going to depend on what you're willing to pay. If you're willing to pay a basketball coach $7 to $8 million, then you're going to have to jack up ticket prices, concessions, everything to break even in basketball. Where right now you're making money. That's what's going to be interesting for me, Bobby. You'd know more about that. Brad Stevens is no. TJ, people ask about the guy at Iowa State. He is really good. People ask about Royale Ivy. I love Royale Ivy. I think it would be an out-of-the-box, really smart hire. You'd have to have people to help him build his college staff. Problem with Royale, in the NBA, the Rockets brass think he's 2 years away from being an NBA head coach right now. So, I mean, where do you want to be? So it's gonna take a hefty commitment from Texas to get the people, get one of the guys a lot of people are asking about. I mean, you're talking $7 million a year, $5-6 million guaranteed.
Now that I want to say this,
guaranteed in NIL.
But here's the issue, Jerry. Now that the football coach makes what Sark makes, the basketball coach can make the 7.
But how they make up the money, because right now they're making money and they'll go in the red for sure.
They don't care. That's all. They shuffle. I mean, look, I love Chris Del Conte. I think he's terrific for the University of Texas. Money can magically appear if it's for the right coach. I've been around Texas for freaking 35, 40 years now. Money magically appears when Mac Brown comes to town. When Chris Beard came to town, NIL was doing pretty good now.
Yeah.
Was it not, Jerry? NIL was pretty good when Chris Beard wasn't around. It dries up when you lose. NIL at Texas for football, doing pretty good right now.
NIL for basketball is not bad right now. Actually, it's not bad. It's not what a coach, the level of all the people that are asking about names in the chat. Because here's the thing that's going to happen: it's going to be a mercenary hire, and that guy is going to have all the leverage. That's the way this is going to go. I mean, there is no Chris Beard Texas graduate out there.
What about Rick Pitino?
Rick Pitino is the best college basketball coach, period. I think natural, pure basketball coach. He's the best guy in college. 72. You going to do that? Guy's a great coach.
72 years old. I mean, yeah. Got to have somebody that can coach offense, man. That's my
100%. Because the coaches in this conference are elite offensive coaches, and the athleticism. This is the most athletic basketball conference and the way it's officiated. You can play that way. It's not a bloodbath like the Big 12 is. It's not officiated the same.
All right, good stuff there. Juan had a super chat, but I think we just basically covered it. So I'll give Juan a lot of credit because he asked this question even before we got the conversation started about the best offensive basketball coach. He thinks that would be the best idea for Texas.
Well,
along the lines that Bobby was talking about.
You're talking Nate Oates, Dan Hurley. You're talking those guys. Todd Golden at Florida. You're talking those guys are your elite. Rick Pitino, just an elite coach, period. But those are that's your list of like elite offensive guys. So again, it's just going to depend on what Texas is willing to pay. I mean, look, you could, if you don't want to go the 7-8 route, you could go get Brad Burnell probably at Clemson, who's a hell of a basketball coach. So, I mean, that guy's a hell of a coach at Clemson. So again, it's just going to depend on what the head coaching salary number is, what the salary pool is going to be, what would an NIL guarantee, because that's going to be a big part of this job. somebody's it's gonna be a mercenary hire. They're gonna have all the leverage.
And to your question earlier, Jerry, about what was Blake doing, Coach says he was cooking dinner. There you go.
Okay.
Hope you got that approved again. I imagine now they should be eating dinner because that was a little while ago. So I don't know how long it's taking to cook dinner, but there you go. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. And please, hope you got that approved. All right. Let's get to Samir here with a question about Quinn. Says, curious, did you know about Quinn's oblique during the season? Feel bad for how hard we may have been on him. Every week to play must have been tough. Thank you, Samir, for the super chat. We appreciate that. We knew about it. I think now it's being painted as maybe it was more severe, and maybe it happened earlier than we actually expected. He's saying, I think maybe I'm off here. I think I heard them, one of the reports say that it happened the week after the Michigan game, like in between Michigan and UTSA. And then it flared up in the UTSA game, basically. Right?
Yeah, he said he pulled it in the USC. It was tweaking him during the week of practice, and then he got into UTSA and he pulled it.
Yeah,
but I thought we covered it pretty well.
Yeah, we talked about it.
I thought we were always knew that those were the types of injuries that linger. I think there is some revisionist history here.
Of course. I agree.
I think it's a fitting narrative at some level.
Yes.
And so I think that it can maybe be a little bit of both. But we knew the oblique was bothering him during the early part when he returned. That was natural. But how is this oblique hurting against Ohio State? No. Against Arizona State? No. And he said that. So he said he got back to normal, and then now he may have had his ankle rolled.
Yep.
Right. And that's really what bothered him going into A&M and against Kentucky.
Yeah.
So it was, the question wasn't, his oblique wasn't hurting the whole year, but he wasn't healthy the whole year because he also rolled his ankle late in the year after the oblique started feeling better.
Yeah. And that's the main issue with Quinn is there's always something like an injury of some sort that has kept him from ultimately, reaching his ceiling as a player. But when we see him, the few flashes you've seen him healthy, it has to be intriguing to NFL scouts because he looks good early on in the season. When he's you assume he's really, Alabama, Michigan, those are the best Quins we've seen. And that's been the healthiest Quins we've seen. I think the question would be, well, yeah, if I put him in an NFL team, though, can he deal with the rigors and, kind of the wear and tear of being an NFL quarterback if he couldn't get through a college schedule? So that's to me, that's the biggest question with Quinn, right? They really, and development wise, I think that to me is what the NFL scouts saying that must have hurt his development or, obviously, honestly, I think that's what his agent wants people to think. Right. So they'll draft him high. It's no, he's far from peaking. This guy's got a huge upside, hasn't really been able to reach it because of the injuries. And that's why I think his agent's probably doing a good job now saying he was basically hurt most of the year. And that's, I think, what's been thrown out there and reported.
Yeah. And we've talked about this. We were all at the pro day last year, or you may not have been at the pro day last year. Bobby, myself, Jeff, and he looked like $1 million on air, and he is going to tear it up. We talked about it and headed into the combine. He is going to tear it up. He will tear it up at pro day. Whenever he does workouts, he is truly gifted in that setting. Bobby, we talked about this the other day. The biggest question that Quinn's going to have to answer, and Sark's going to have to help him answer, because he's going to be asked is, why did you pull your third-year starting quarterback against Georgia? Was it that bad? Was his play that bad that you had to pull him? And so that's the thing that makes Quinn so tough in this draft for scouts is the on-air looks amazing. The tape did not this year. I get the injury of playing up the severity, and I'm not saying it wasn't, but I'm saying that's a scout. That is the agent and everybody's job headed into the draft. If he had a great year on the field, even if he had that same injury, that wouldn't be what people are talking about right now. But Quinn's career is going to come down to when things break down, can he make plays? Is he a playmaker? Because if he is, he has a chance to be really good. If he's not, it's going to be tough.
I'll just say that I'm a believer in Quinn and happy for what he did for the University of Texas. In the NFL, you got to be able to move better in the pocket than what.
Got to be a playmaker.
And that did not, in my opinion, that was his biggest weakness at Texas. He didn't move well in the pocket. He didn't buy himself extra time. Mm-hmm. He ran into trouble as much as he ran out of trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, how many times did he really buy more time? You want to know why? I mean, his yards per attempt went down. He's throwing first. I mean, he's not getting extra. He's not giving himself extra time. So, I mean, look, I'm not trying to be a naysayer around Quinn. I will say this: a lot of people, oh, well, he's going to go in the second round. One of the things I found really interesting, Rod, maybe you can talk to this because it's NFL draft related. When I spoke with Lance Zierlein, he said, look, there's only been like 5 quarterbacks in the last 10 years that have gone in the second round. He goes, they either go in the first
or they drop
wait to the third. And he goes, because the reason is those teams think I've got to get somebody that definitely can help me win in the second round. And if you're not a starter, if they think you're an immediate starter, they'll pick you in the first round. But if you're not, they'll wait till the third and stash you.
Yeah, because you're right. That second round, I think that the money, it's about the guaranteed money too, right? I think the guaranteed money almost cuts in half in the second round in terms of what you get in the first round. And you don't want to. They want to get guys in the second round. Scouts believe were either basically guys who can help you right away, can be a steal and help you right away. And then I can get great value on paying a guy who may be a starter, who may be a quality contributor, who I'm paying half the guaranteed money to. If I got to get that money to a quarterback, what is he going to do? Unless he's a starter. If he's a starter, I'm drafting him in the first round. But if he's not a starter, why the hell am I going to give him all that guaranteed money? I don't want to do that. So I think it's about giving them less guaranteed money, kind of at that thing too. I didn't realize that. It makes sense though. It makes a lot of sense.
And Zierlein also, and I really was impressed with him, by the way. So I was genuinely, his knowledge base of Texas was very, very strong, very strong. It was, you know how some people we've talked, we all have done it, right, Jerry? Where we talk to a national guy and he didn't really know Texas. Zierlein really knew him and understood the ins and outs. And I thought that was pretty telling. I mean, he said that of the 5, only one of them that had gone in the second round had actually worked out to be any good.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, because you at the quarterback position, because it's so valuable, you'll overlook a lot of the downside of a quarterback. If the upside is high enough, you'll go, to hell with the downside. That guy could be a franchise quarterback. We're going to take the risk on him. And so that will often inflate their draft stock, the guys who are really good and have those elite qualities. And the guys who don't, I can see them kind of dropping down. Like that, at that point, they're a developmental quarterback. And, Jalen Hurts was a second rounder, right? I believe. Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts.
I think he was the one. He was the one that worked out. I saw an interview with him. By the way, Jerry, this is perfect for you and Rod. I saw an interview with with Coach K, John K.
Rice.
Rice. Vite Magazine. Matt Malatesta is an old friend of mine. Did an interview with John K. He was talking to him about when John K. was at North Shore and Jalen Hurts was at Channelview. He said, first of all, he would have gone to North Shore High School. If his dad wasn't coaching at Channelview. So we would have been pretty good. That's number one. Yes. But his dad was coaching at Channelview, so he went to Channelview. He said that he was the first time he remembers Jalen Hurts came at a track meet, and he said Manville was there, all the Humble schools was there, North Shore was there, Port Arthur Memorial had a 4x2 team that was like set a national record. And he runs all the event. The head coaches run those events. For those unfamiliar with, they make sure everything gets off on time. They get off of campus and all this other stuff. He said, well, for the first time in my life, we were waiting for somebody on that ran in the 4x1 in the finals to finish in shot put because he was actually winning the shot put competition. He goes, so that was my first introduction to Jalen Hurts. I had to hold up a track meet in the competition because he was waiting on his final throw in the shot.
Never happened. It's like we never had to worry about this before. This has never happened before.
He's like, what the hell?
I ran track.
You can quarterback over channel
at the same time.
Wow.
That is wild. That is crazy. What a freak. And that's why he is a Super Bowl champion too. No doubt about it. Great story.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, let's hit another question here. How about this one from Justin? Thank you guys for the super chat. We appreciate it. Super chat from Justin says, which guys do y'all think will make next year's combine and who will be the freak testers? Will y'all be able to cover spring ball like in past springs? Yeah, we'll cover spring ball. You just won't have a spring actual game, but no, we'll be covering spring ball. Yeah. Wall to wall, no doubt.
Who will be your athletic testers? We'll see. We got to see what happens this spring in the portal for one.
Yeah, I know. Good point.
That's a good question. I think that your athletic tester, your next guys who are just going to blow up the combine are going to be sophomores on this team. Anthony Hill will test well, but we're talking about the freaks. Like Anthony Hill's not a freak like Derek Johnson was.
What does Jelani McDonald run if he goes pro? What about Derek Williams? I mean, the guy that one of the freaks of the combine was the safety from South Carolina.
Oh man, total freak. Ooh. I talked about that during the season, like because Texas didn't play South Carolina, he was undervalued. He was the best safety in the country.
Yeah.
But my thought process is there are not many out there right now that you would put in that category. I mean, because DeAndre Moore, was he going to go pro early? I wouldn't pin that on him going pro early. Do you feel like he's a sub 4.4 guy? I don't. Maybe he is. I think he's probably a sub 4.5 guy. And I feel like Matthew Golden, he's probably going to work really hard to do well in the 40. Like he's got that kind of know-how, if that makes sense. I don't know that Texas has those guys next year, unless, to Jerry's point, they get them from the portal. Because Manny Muhammad, you think might try to go pro next year, right? He'll be a 3-year. But he's not going to. You don't think he's going to run that?
Not at corner. The average time at corner guys this year was 4.4. That was the average. It was the fastest average time for cornerback. The average time for the cornerback this year was 4.4. So to shine at cornerback, you got to be extra freaky. I mean, Janae Barron was awesome, right? 4.39. That was amazing. But that doesn't stand out at corner, man. Corner is one of those positions where everybody's fast. Everybody. It's like a prerequisite. You got to be able to run at least a 4.4 something.
Anthony Hill might be a guy that runs sub 4.5 if he really gets going, but I bet he's a 4.55, 4.6 guy. Hey Jerry, did you and you and Rod, did you all see that the Rutgers cornerback Mark Orfe, the new cornerbacks coach from Texas, came over from Rutgers? He ran 4.39.
That's 2 years in a row they had a sub 4.4 corner, and that'll be 3 years in a row that one of Orfe's corners got drafted out of Rutgers. 3 years in a row
out of Rutgers.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, that's out of Rutgers. Like, no, that's strong. Can we get into this real quick, and we'll take some of the other questions I know you guys have, and some of the super chats. So basically, are we, based on the combine, saying that Texas's offense was the fastest offense in college football the last 2 years?
If they had been healthy this year, I was on record before the season. I thought they were going to be faster team than last year and a faster offense, but they had too many injuries this year. I mean, the offense was really – I mean, look, no matter that Isaiah Bond didn't back up his mouth at the combine, when he got hurt, that's a big loss for a team. There just aren't many guys that catch a swing pass and take it 80, right? I mean, he's different type of speed in a game. And the injuries, the center backs, I mean, you know, those injuries were tough on the offense, the Texas offense. But, I mean, Gunnar Helm, had he not rolled his ankle, would have ran a faster time than JT Sanders at the combine, in my opinion.
Yep.
Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond, if he doesn't stand up straight, you have two guys that run sub 4.3. I mean, that's a super Jaden Blue, Silas Bolden. That is a super fast offense Texas had this year. Now, I think injuries really affected the outcome of that offense this year.
I would add this to Rod. I don't know about Ohio State. They had two running backs that could pop off. And they had Jeremiah Smith. Abuka didn't work out really. Carnell Tate didn't work out. He's young. I mean, Ohio State and Texas, and then the year before they had Marvin Harrison's kid.
That's real.
So I think Texas and Ohio State have had the two fastest offenses. I think that's fair. I would I think that just look, I said it at the start of the show. Texas had 4 players off this team run sub 4.4 at the combine. That has never happened before in the history of the combine. A single team to have 4 guys run sub 4.4. Okay. Baylor one year had 3. Ohio State one year had 3. LSU one year had 3. But that's a record. 4. So we have, and then the year before they had Worthy and Mitchell.
It's crazy.
And Jonathan Brooks ain't slow. And so Jordan Whittington's not slow. So I agree that they were the fastest team. Them or Ohio State. By the way, Travion Henderson with a 4.43 at his size.
The running backs, period. Man.
And by the way, his mile per hour was up there too. He's another one of those guys that
looked like it on the screen.
It looked like it on the screen.
Yeah.
So he, because about 40 or about 30 yards into that screen pass, he hit a little gear
and already started playing.
Yeah. Acceleration.
And ran a 4.41, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like
That's those MPHs are about the acceleration, guys. And it's crazy how the speed and acceleration can be different. Some guys' acceleration is elite, and then their speed is great, but their acceleration is elite. And man, it's unbelievable to see some of those guys. And you said Isaiah Bond, he's an acceleration guy, turns out, which means probably over 100 meters, probably hit. Obviously playing out a little bit differently than 40 yards. All right, let's get back to it. Thank you guys for the super chat. We appreciate it. Miracle Martinez said, Rob, why did you choose number 21? Welcome back, Bobby. Appreciate you, Miracle Martinez. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. I didn't choose number 21. I chose number 2. I told Tim Brewster I wanted number 2. I told Chip, our equipment guy at the time, that I wanted number 2. And then I was convinced that 21 was just as cool as number 2, even though it wasn't as cool as number 2. But I was convinced. And because I wanted number 2 because Deion Sanders wore number 2 in college. I wanted to be like Deion, of course. Everybody who played corner wanted to be like Deion. And then so I wouldn't be upset. Coach Bruce was like, nah, man, just wear number 21. That's cool. Deion wears number 21. You can do that. And that's why I did it. That's basically the gist of it. But I still do believe to today, because 21 is no longer a cool number in Texas. I don't even know who's wearing number 21 anymore. I will go down. Who's wearing it?
Phil Same. Phil Same.
Yeah, Phil Same.
He's got a shot. Right now, I still believe I'm the greatest number 21 in Texas football history because it's not a cool number anymore. It's not cool. Nobody love it.
Rod B, I'm going to see if I put you down at number 21. I'll look that up tomorrow.
What is it like? Blake Gideon? Who's it? Grady Cabinet? Like, who are we talking about here? What you got?
No, it was like, I'll see. It may have been you. I'll check it out. Let me look.
I don't want to. I'm not going to debate it, but I'd say I believe I'm in the discussion. I'm in the discussion. I'll just throw that out there. How about this one? Jay Downs with a good one here. Said, would Golden have developed his speed and overall game as well if he had stayed at Houston? Does his performance help recruiting at Texas? That's a great question. I mean, you guys obviously tracked him in recruiting and followed his recruiting. Is this a guy you believed would have reached right now in a discussion to be the number 1 receiver in this draft if he had just stayed at U of H in that system and that program as opposed to
no, because he would not have been able to make the same. It's a different route tree. Well, they went through a coaching change too, but the scheme that Sark plays in that he has is great for college wide receivers. I think 1, 2. The move to Texas gave him the ability to make plays on the big stage against a lot of other guys that are going to be drafted. And he ended up being the go-to player when the game was on the line, or your red zone guy, or the guy that Quinn trusted the most. And we said it before the season. We'd heard he was his guy. He doesn't have those same opportunities at Houston. Now, he's a draft pick. He would have gone out and run 4.4 this weekend. He was a tremendous kick returner. He made plays, Bobby, but the scheme and to who he did it against, no question that transfer helped him. Same way Jared Verse. Jared Verse could have put up big stats wherever he had gone if he hadn't gone to FSU. But the fact that he did it in FSU on that team against the players he went up against, that helped him greatly.
I got to say this, Rod. So I did a look. This is from 4 years ago now. So you haven't been beaten out for 4 years. I literally talked to a guy. Y'all remember Bill Little, obviously. Oh yeah. Former University of Texas SID, longtime SID. I talked to John Bianco, current AD, associate athletic director for communications, longtime Texas SID. I talked to a couple of old guard guys, including Ken Dabbs, the old recruiting coordinator for Darryl Roy, and Fred Akers. During that time, I talked to him about the best numbers. You were the best number 21 on this list. You were the best number 21. Just so you know. Stelvin Young was 22.
Like that.
23 was Jeff Ward, the former football kicker.
Yeah.
24, I had a hard time between Raymond Claiborne and A.J. Jam Jones. Longtime New York Jet. Jamal Charles was 25. Johnny Lamb Jones, the former Olympic sprinter, was 26. Johnny Johnson got the nod at 27 over Michael Griffin. I got a bunch of these guys.
Oh, that is great. You might redo that one, man. Might republish that one. An update.
No. Johnny Johnson, man, 12-year pro.
And what I say, no, I like. I ain't no. I Johnny Johnson is on the. He's on the Mount Rushmore DBU, so I ain't saying that. No.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying I like the idea, so we should. But I guess you could just republish it because I don't have. Is there an update of those? I guess Kelvin Banks is like. I don't know. Some of these Kelvin Banks would be the great. Is he? I'm saying some of these guys who are coming out who are legacy of guys, all-time greats now. And they switched his number to number 7, so that changes things.
I think now you can add a 0. Like before, we couldn't have a 0.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Number 1, I had as Donnie Little, but I would say that probably is Xavier Worthy.
Oh, done. See, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Sark changed the game.
Number 3 with Quinn. I mean, Mossy Cade, Nate Vasher, Jordan Hicks. That's a pretty tough. I don't know if Quinn wins that or not.
You got to update the Bijan on 1, right? Bijan on 5. You got to update that one, right?
Is he number 5? He was number 5, right?
Yeah, it's got to be him, right? I mean, I haven't done the research.
James Brown.
Oh, well, still.
James Brown.
Hey, he did one championship.
Quarterbacks now.
He won championship.
He was probably a better player than James.
Terrell Brown
was really good.
I
went with James Brown back then, Jerry, because and you have to. I think James Brown. People don't realize this. Texas was before he signed with Texas, and he signed with Texas at a time when Shea Morenz was the heir apparent at quarterback at Texas and was the highest rated recruit in the country. James Brown from Beaumont Westbrook said, "Screw it, I don't care. I'm going to Texas." Okay, for John McAfee. All he did was win the last Southwest Conference championship, win the first game he ever started at Texas against OU, and then win the first Big 12 championship.
Wow.
Now, didn't have the arm to play in the NFL, but pretty darn good college football player, in my opinion.
No, that is good.
2 conference championships.
Oh no, underappreciated. No doubt about that. I agree with you on that. CB says, my man CB Chris Benton says, Nasty Nate better 3 than Quinn, in my opinion. Ooh, Nasty Nate. Yeah, Nathan Vasher was legit. Man, I love me some Nathan Vasher, big fan. So I'll back you up on that one, CB. That dude was. I thought he should have. I don't know how he didn't win the Thorpe. I swear he was gonna win the Thorpe when I was here because he was just that damn good. He kept making plays like his. I mean, still all time. He's tied for all time leading interceptions at Texas. Dude's just a playmaker. Arrow Kids 27 says, "What number does Ricky claim?" That's
34. He won the Heisman with 34.
Yeah. What's on the stat sheet?
I gave him 34, in part because 11 was Derek Johnson.
Oh,
yeah.
So, what are you gonna do? You got to give it.
At some point, you have to cross over sports. TJ Ford was the best 11 ever at Texas.
Oh no!
No, we can't do it. Because then I'm not the greatest number 21, so we can't do it. We can't do it.
Oh, that takes away Rod for Roger Clemens. That's true.
No, then I lose that. Then I drop down like the 5, Jerry. They'll drop down like 5 or 6. You know what I mean? No, I can't do that.
Hey, Ryan Nelson, call the shot. Yeah, Colin Simmons, let's see what happens here.
Oh, ooh.
Where's 11?
Think about what he's got to accomplish. Can we pull up DJ's resume real quick? You think about what he's got to accomplish to do that?
Yeah.
That's the DJ won a lot of hardware, didn't he? I mean, that dude was a monster.
Lombardi. He won the Lombardi. I mean, DJ's he's going to be hard to beat. He was also the
could win a national award.
Yeah. I mean, who's 78 for Kelvin Banks?
It's got to be him.
He's ahead of. Yeah, he takes Blake Brockermeyer's place.
Got
at
to
78, in my opinion.
Yep.
What number was Tavondre Sweat? 98 with 93.
93.
Oh.
Leonard
Eric
Davis.
Hawley. Eric Hawley was number 93. That's Shea Hawley's dad.
Yeah.
I think
Leonard Davis wore 70, correct?
Yep. Yeah. Leonard's on this list at 70.
Mike Williams wore 78.
Yeah. I thought he was 73.
He was some. Yeah, he was some. Yeah, I think he had a 3 in there. I agree.
Sean Rogers is 73. Him or Jonathan Scott are the two.
Oh, I forgot about Big Sean.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, Bobby. You were on a flight. I had Blake bring up a picture of Sean Rogers coaching his daughters in basketball.
Oh, really?
He still looks unbelievably athletic. He doesn't move athletic anymore. He had too many years in the NFL. But the guy he's going to have skinny ankles for life at 6'5", 330. Look when you're walking around, man. Pretty athletic look when you have skinny ankles and you're 6'5", 330.
Yeah, he's still got 2 of the longest fumble returns for a 300+ pound human being, I believe, in the league. I think that's actually a stat. I remember reading it because I remember reading it when Tavondre Sweat did it. And I saw Sean Rogers on there a couple of times. Dude was a freakish athlete. All right, let's get back to a couple of questions. I know we're getting close to the end of our live stream. Question here from Matthew, who says, "Hey, Jerry, can you explain why so many D-lines transferred out when it seems like there was plenty of opportunity for snaps? Were they pushed out for the incoming D-line in the transfer portal, or what happened there?" That's what Matthew wants to know.
Well, Sadir Mitchell's probably regretting his move right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bo gone, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a little of both, honestly.
Well, I don't think Aaron Bryant was going to play, and I think Jere Bledsoe had kind of worked himself out of favor. Sadir Mitchell was surprising at the time because remember, he initially decided to come back and then decided to re-enter the portal. I don't think that's, Sadir was the only one that they were kind of hoping would stay, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just from what I understand. Now, it doesn't mean they won't try to run anybody off.
Right.
That's a different story. But as far as guys they thought would play this year, that was the one that they thought might play.
Rick Amberg asked.
I'm not speaking out of turn there, am I, Jerry? You don't.
No, it's fine. Rick Ambergy follows up. Will Texas get another D tackle in the portal? They want one more. We'll see.
Yeah,
got to come
up with
guys.
All right. Thank you for the question, Matthew. Let's get to thanking our sponsor once again before we answer a few more questions in our live stream for tonight. Thank you to our sponsor over at rogueshop.com of our Sunday night live stream. Rogueshop.com, bringing real Flint Madison back to its roots. Make sure to use the promo code. You see it right there on your screen on Texas, and you'll get a very special discount from our very special friends over at rogueshop.com. And no matter what you're dealing with, maybe it's sleep deprivation, maybe it's just aches and pains all over because or for me, it's just my old playing days. Maybe for you, it's just because Father Time, whatever it may be. Maybe you're dealing with anxiety issues. Our friends over at Rogue Shop have a variety of different products to help treat and address different ailments that you may be dealing with. So go check them out. Oils, gummies, flour, creams, different vitamins, you name it. Actually had a member of the Owen Texas football family tell us that they had some issues with sleep, and then they went to rogueshop.com, found a couple of items to help them out, and now they swear by Rogue Shop, helping them get some good sleep, and maybe it can help you too. Just check them out, rogueshop.com. Use that discount code on Texas. Don't forget, they also ship nationwide, so no matter where you are in the Owen Texas football family, they can get their fantastic products to you no matter where you are. So we appreciate them, rogueshop.com, for being a member of the Owen Texas football family. All right, guys. I saw here's an interesting question about Ryan Wingo. It's basically pointing out that if if Matthew Golden ran a 4.29, this is from King Kunta, says if Matthew Golden ran a 4.29, what do we expect Wingo's time to be? This is because and we can obviously guess about Wingo's time and how fast he is, because he does have I think some elite speed, but the offense won't be as fast as it's been the last 2 years overall. You're going to say, Jerry, you predicted the offense will be faster this past season than it was in 2023. There'll be an explosive offense. Hell, last year they were the most explosive offense in the country, actually, if you're looking at explosive plays generated. But they won't have access to that many explosive weapons unless the spring portal they bring in some more. And I'm not saying that DeAndre Moore and Ryan Wingo aren't those guys. Those guys, I think, can make some of those plays. But as we just saw looking at the NFL Combine the last couple of years, Texas offense has a speed element that only a couple of teams in the country can match. I feel like they're not going to have that kind of speed this season with Blue leaving and with Bond leaving. Golden, of course, I'm still under appreciating and disrespecting Golden, but with all that speed leaving, and not saying that they're going to be a slow team by any stretch, but there's definitely been an elite element of their formula the last couple of years, and then maybe they just don't have an elite version of speed this upcoming season. Still adequate, but not elite. Is that possible that there's a little bit of a drop off there overall in the speed category at the skill positions?
Yes, I think so, because you don't have it at running back no matter what you do. You're not going to recreate Jalen Blue's speed. So, there's not going to be anybody in the transfer portal that fast. And I would say this too for Jerry and you is, it depends if they add another receiver in the portal. There are fast guys in the portal, so probably will be at receiver. So let's see. But for those that say, well, Ryan Wingo's not that fast, Rod, he ran a 10.5 in high school.
I guess I think he's got elite speed. I do.
Yeah, so my point is that's faster than Matthew Golden ran in high school. Now, Rod, you made this whole point about efficiency in sprinting in the 40-yard dash. Is Ryan Wingo going to be that efficient? I think there's a reason Matthew Golden stood on his 4.3, by the way. He's like, that may be the best I can do, bro. He wasn't like Avery Worthy saying, I got more in the tank.
Yeah. I'll tell you one area, and this is not a knock. We said is one area Texas is about to be faster than they've ever been is at tight end. And I'm interested to see the offense in the next couple of years. Jordan with Washington next year, Nick Townsend coming in. He's not getting in until June. Nick Townsend ran 10-6 split in the 4x1 the first track. Rod, did you see that?
I did.
10-6 split in the first 4x1 of the season and a 21-7 200. Texas is about to be faster with Washington and more athletic at tight end than I can ever recall. Now, maybe the Jermichael Finley year or two, but they're about to be – I'm interested to see what Sark does with game-changing speed. Now, Gunnar Helm, tremendous player. JT Sanders, really good at what he did, but these guys are a different level athlete coming in at tight end, in my opinion.
The bigger speed maybe is kind of the thing, right? You still got guys, but the speed is being now presented in a bigger kind of bigger frame guys now. Even a little bit different than Gunnar Helm, like I said, and JT Sanders at the wide receiver position. We've talked about that. Look at Wingo, look at Parker Livingstone coming in. It seems like now that the speed may be presented a little bit differently. I don't know if that – I think it is intentional. Not saying Sark is going to go away from speed. He loves speed. That's something he covets, period, in guys that he's bringing into his offensive system. But it does seem like there's more range. There's more length to these guys he's bringing in. And potentially maybe that's the next evolution for Sark of this offense. All right, let's get to a couple of more questions here. How about this one from Rick says, what about Terry at halfback? How fast is he? What about him at tight end? I feel like we talk about Michael Terry at like 3 different positions: tight end, running back, and wide receiver. And I don't know where he's going to end up. I feel like running back is the least likely place. But like tight end and wide receiver, are probably more likely running back at the highest level, but I'm not going to shortchange the guy.
He's starting at wide receiver.
Yeah.
Here's the question. I think he could be H-back. The bigger piece for me, and I asked this because I don't know the answer, and I haven't seen him play in person. Now, H-back's got to be effective. He's got to be physical. And I haven't seen Michael Terry in person enough to know if he's got that kind of, what in his neck to be physical enough to cross block, a oncoming defensive tackle.
Michael Williams. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, not trying to. So I would say he would be an ideal H-back if he could do that, Rod. Ideal, but I don't know that he can. But he's starting off at wide receiver. He ran in he ran the 10-9s, didn't he, Jerry?
10-8-5.
Yeah. I mean, I was just looking at this up while y'all were talking. So Ryan Wingo ran a 10-5, fully automated. DeAndre Moore, as an 11th grader, he did not run track as a senior, right? Because he entered school early. He ran 10-9. That means as a senior, he probably would have got to 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
Just natural. So that's pretty fast.
Yeah.
It's pretty fast.
It's plenty fast, actually.
Yeah.
But Parker Livingston only really ran the 200 and the 400.
Right.
So you can't really count his 100.
Yeah.
That wasn't what he did. I think they need a fast. We've said this. I think they need a fast receiver. I mean, look, Jamie French, I think, is going to be the fastest of those guys. I think long term. But we'll see.
I want to answer this one. Victor Santiago, hey Jared, because I texted somebody and got this answer. Any truth that James Simon's already up to around 215, 220? Not picking on who reported that. That's really off. That's not correct. He came into Texas at 202. I just texted somebody and they responded and said James Simon is currently 207 pounds.
Wow.
And when we had John Simon on this show, the 2 times we had him on, the second time we asked him about what he thought James would max out weight-wise, and he thought it would be around 217, 218, 220 in that range. So he's going to be a slower build weight-wise. That actually worried me because I was thinking if that kid put on 15 pounds this quick, that's not really good. But he's added 5 pounds since he reported.
Yeah, that's still pretty impressive.
I don't know how the chat, Rod, I don't know how the chat got on this, but they got on to Terry Orr, a former Texas player that played halfback at Texas, was a running back, ended up playing, I think, 10 years in the NFL as a tight end. for the Washington Redskins. Joe Gibbs.
Oh,
He was his tight end.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
Funny. He played halfback with another guy named Johnny Walker, who Johnny Sky Walker was his nickname.
We had multiple Johnny Walkers, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Terry Orr was number 37 at Texas.
Terry Orr. Okay.
Yeah. And so that's a good one. Glenn Blackwood also wore number 37.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Henry Melton also wore number 37.
So
pretty good group of guys. Those 3 guys that, by the way, I don't know did y'all see that about Henry Melton? Did we talk about that?
We did. We gave him
yeah. He's recovering from a pretty difficult heart problem right now up in Chicago. So we wishing him nothing but the best.
No doubt. Send good vibes his way. All right. Thank you very much for the questions. We appreciate you guys. If we missed any I see here. CB said, Rod, did you train specifically for the 40 before your combine? I did train for it. And I'm not even sure, my electric time. I've seen multiple. I've seen a 4.43. Some people were throwing out there like a 4.45. It's like I wish I could tell you like my official time. I'm sure it was like somewhere in the mid 4.4s. Is basically where I ended up running. And everybody is disappointed in their 40 time, unless they're like Matthew Golden. They surprise their damn self and they go, "Well, I'm not running again. Hell no, I'm not running again." No,
by the way, this is when you came out in today's nutrition, strength and conditioning, all the gains that have been made there. That's like a 4.38.
Yeah. So, because Xavier Worthy ran a 4.2, like 4.23 or something like that. He's like, I think I can run better than him. So everybody's a little bit disappointed in their 40 time. And about this, because I was telling one of my friends, we were having a discussion, and we talked about it on our chat, guys, on the group text. Why call your shot? Right? Yeah. If you're Jaden Blue or you're Isaiah Bond, like, why would you call your shot? Like, because they actually booed Isaiah Bond on it. Y'all hear that? At the combine, he got booed on his first run because everybody expected to run, something 4.2. They want to see the show, and it was, I guess, a disappointing show, even though 4.4 or 4.39 is really freaking fast. But those guys, I'm sure, at their workouts were running faster times. Now you can say, well, maybe their workouts were inflated times, something like that. It could be that. These days, I doubt it because they have the technology and everything to try to make it to simulate what the combine is doing. And they got big time agents, some multi-billion-dollar industry. So I think they actually have a very similar setup. And I trained specifically for the combine too, guys. The pressure of the combine. It's
the tension.
It's the tension of the moment. It's all there on the line. So I think that's part of the show. And that's part of why you give props to those guys who can perform. Everybody's running fast times at practice. Everybody there is running fast times at their practice. And when they go to the combine, 85% of the guys there, you ask them, do you run faster in your combine prep or faster to come? They go, I was faster in my prep. Yeah. You're relaxed. You were confident in your combine prep. You went to the combine. Maybe a little bit of doubt. That crept up. Bad start. Jumped up too high. If you're Isaiah Bond, whatever. You only got 2 chances. Don't screw it up. Screw up once. If you screw up the first time, you're thinking about it the second time.
You got more tension the second run.
So it's all about the pressure and performing at a really high level of pressure, which is what these scouts want to see, right? So that's why they probably made the prediction that, hey, I'm gonna run in 4.2s. They probably were running pretty. I don't know if they were running 4.21 or whatever. They were running pretty fast. They were running faster in their prep. I guarantee you that. The pressure, the combine is all about performing under pressure. The guys who did, they make a lot of money. It makes you a lot of money.
Is he the first player we've ever seen that got booed at the combine?
Nah, it's got to be some other guys in the back. I mean, they just started allowing fans.
If he is, the Hall of Fame may be asking for his cleats too.
That's a great, because they just started bringing in fans, so I don't know. But yeah, that's I think that's why they call their shot. Well, no, I think they were running fast times now in practice, which, like I said, it's easier. I was running fast time. I was running 4.3s, so I expected 4.3s. It did not happen like that.
Can you put Rod's thing back up there? I got to finish with this. We got to close with this. If you could put Rod's results up there. I want to give Rod a hand. Okay, because one thing that hasn't changed over time, Jerry, is the bench press.
Damn, you doubled up JT Sanders.
Well, that ain't hard to do. That wasn't tough to do.
Rod, you had long arms though for your height.
I did have long arms though. I did get a lot of props for my arm length. I got some love. My wingspan was my height.
Rod B, your 10-yard split would still be top 10 in this combine, I think.
Yeah, my chance was like my acceleration. That's what we just talked about. This acceleration. I needed more acceleration once I got out. You know what I mean? I didn't have it. So, hey, that's the difference.
Can you scroll that over? Did he have a 3-cone back then?
Tom? Yes.
Let's see. Oh, now I'm going to examine Robbie's combine. Let's see.
Rod thought he was for sure going the first 3 rounds. He said, "No, I don't need to do that."
Okay, so Rod's acceleration because of his. I don't think they did 3-cone back then.
I think I did it maybe I did it at Pro Day.
So because of Rod's acceleration, he would have busted 7. He would have ran 6 in the 6.8s in the L cone.
Yeah, I think I did that at Pro Day and that stuff. I did some of that stuff at Pro Day, I believe. Yeah. But all right,
Could you dunk a basketball?
What'd you say?
Could you dunk a basketball?
You better say yes.
In my prime, I could do it, but I couldn't do it off the dribble. Like it's a straight up dribble. I could do it, but I would have to either run and do it, or I had to catch an alley hoop and do it. So I would admit, doing it off the dribble was sometimes tough for me. I would get a little hung.
I got so. All right, 37-inch for pretty good, Rod.
It wasn't bad.
That's about
Yeah. My day, it wasn't bad my day. All right, but trust me, to the guys I win the draft with, it wasn't good enough. All right, thank you, Bobby. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the knowledge.
But that's how far we've come. Landon Jackson's jumping 40.5 inches at 6'6", 270.
Yeah, they're different athletes than we were. Like they even look different than when the combine when I went there, guys. You can tell now. Like you said, the diets now, the nutritionists, and all that
training.
It's a full blown industry. Yeah. When I got started, the combine industry had just started. Now it's now a science. Like it is a straight up science. All right. Thank you, Matthew, behind the scenes. Everybody give him some love. Matthew is the real MVP. Thank you to our sponsor, RogueShop.com. Remember, use that discount code ON Texas. And you'll get a very special discount from my friends at RogueShop.com. If we missed any of your questions, we apologize. You can direct them to the guys at Coffee and Football in the morning. That'll be Jerry and Bobby at 8 a.m. You can start off with those guys, and we'll have the winning drive with myself, CJ Vogel, and Coach Bob Shipley. That'll be around 3:15 tomorrow. So we got you covered. For Matthew, for Jerry, for Bobby, and for our friends over at Rogue Shop as well. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Hook 'em horns.
Hook up.